themselves Maxi's Kids, and you know, just for $5,000, I just support them for a year. And Victoria, I've known you for how many, 15, 20 years, and she does really great work, and she really just went to the streets and picked up these kids. Parents died of AIDS, they just were running AIDS, and now, how many have you got all told?
113.
130. Wow. So I've got my 10. I said, I like Maxi's Kids better. So now it's all Maxi's Kids, and that's what we're celebrating today. I'm going to be hugged by Leonard over there. Put your hand up, Leonard. He's going to hug me. And then I'm going to ask you all at the end and send a big hug like this. Ooh, you know, to Maxi's Kids. Jambo, Maxi's Kids. Wasuzi Otia. I thank you for your letters, your verses, your pictures, and I am very proud of you. Today I want you to meet some of my special friends at Pitt and at the city of Pittsburgh. And each one is special, and they will greet you. We are meeting on the 12th floor of this 535-foot building called the Cathedral of Learning at the University of Pittsburgh, and we're about right in there. I'm going to just say a couple of words of introduction. We're going to start with Larry Glasgow. Tell us about what you've done for us.
Jambo, Maxi's Kids. I'm Larry Glasgow, and Maxi's program sent me to Africa to research and make plans for our African classroom.
John Wiles, I call him Wild John.
Jambo, Maxi's Kids. I stepped on Maxi's foot 40 years ago, and we're still friends.
40.
I said 40. 40.
Jambo, Maxi's Kids. I am the 2001 Austrian Room Scholarship winner. I went to Vienna to study music and music therapy, and now I write books and illustrate them. And this is Catula. He is the star of this book, and he is one of the most well-known cats in the U.S. and quickly becoming the world. And he will be going to California for a very important event in California in August, thanks to Maxine.
Greetings, Maxi's Kids. I'm Melissa's grandmother, and I've had the honor of meeting Maxine through Melissa, and I can't tell you how much her friendship means to us. We talk on the phone several times a day, and I look forward to those calls.
Nicholas Langston, you probably know him already because he's been to Uganda lots of times.
Jambo, Maxi's Kids. Oliotia Bangabange. How are you? It's nice to see you again. I hope I can come and visit you again very soon, and we can have a good time together again.
Now, here's Big Will Mitchell.
Jambo, Maxi's Kids. My name is Will Mitchell. I work in facilities management. I manage the crew that helps take care of Maxine's rooms. So when you're ever in the United States, stop in and take a look at them. Thank you.
Jambo, Maxi's Kids. We take care of Maxi's rooms.
We had a big scare once in Maxi's room. It was her grandma. She haunts the early American room. Oh, and here's the picture of her right here.
That on your left hand, on the right of the picture, is Grandma.
This is Grandma.
That little 5-year-old girl is my
This
mother.
is Maxine's mother.
That's in the late 1800s.
So that's her
in
that
West Virginia.
is up in the early American room.
We're all West Virginia hillbillies.
Me and Ruthie was going up the steps in the early American room, and I was first. And as soon as I got to the top of the steps, a black shadow shot across in front of me. I turned around and said to Ruthie, "Did you see that?" And she said, "See what?"
He actually ran rapidly out.
We went down the steps. And Maxine says that was Grandma. So
It was Grandma's room.
that was going in, we was going in Grandma's room.
We got Grandma's ghost there when my mother gave us her wedding quilt that she had quilted in West Virginia as a young woman before she even met my grandfather. And so when I said we had inherited a 4-poster bed, my mother said, "You get that bed roped and I'll give you Grandma's wedding quilt." And the very next day, we put the quilt on, and John Carter came up to me. He was a custodian. He said, "Max, don't tell anybody, but I went in there this morning, went up to the 2nd floor, and the quilt was mussed up. I smoothed it out, put it under the pillows, turned around, heard a swish, looked back. The quilt was turned down, and there was a dent in the pillow." And I said, "I'll be damned." Now, he didn't want me to tell anybody, but then the cradle started to rock, just 3 times. Now, if you touch that cradle, it'll rock 14 times. You go, it goes ticka, 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 ticka. When Grandma does it, it's 3 times, slow. So Ruthie and Floyd had that wonderful experience.
Jambo to Maxi's kids. I'm Pamela Golden, and I met Maxine many, many years ago when I won a scholarship to study in France. And our families became friends. We adopted her, and she and Fred would come and spend their holidays with us, and that tradition has continued for many years. And I just wish you all the best of luck.
My name is Louis Picard, and I am most happy to join Maxine's friends to say Jambo to Maxi's kids and to wish them the best in their future education. I'm the director of the African Studies program at the University of Pittsburgh, and I'm also the president of ASA Social Fund for Hidden Peoples, a group which raises funding for scholarships so that children who need educational support can go to school.
Jambo Maxi's kids. I'm Marianne Sivak, and I'm assistant to Maxine. And as you can see, working with Maxine is never boring. I was born in a very small country in Eastern Europe called Slovakia, and came here when I was a little bit older than you. I was 14. And I saw your video, and I'm very happy to see that you're so happy.
We're coming to Leonard.
Yeah.
Tell us about.
Hello, Jambo Max's kids. My name's Leonard Jackson. I'm a custodian and work with facility management in the Cathedral of Learning. I hug Max every morning at 7:30, and we become good friends. Thank you.
No, you can pretend it's 7:30 in the morning.
7:30.
Yum, yum, yum. Take care.
Okay, you too.
I wanted to tell you about my husband, Fred. He died a few years ago, but he was born in Berlin when Hitler came to power. He was a teenager, and he said, "No, this means war." And so he joined the anti-Nazis. And he got arrested on his bicycle delivering anti-Hitler stuff. And he was put in prison for 2 years. And then he got out, and they sent him, they would not let him go to the university because he was anti-Hitler. And he then ended up in this, it's a camp in France, an internment camp for German intellectuals. Doesn't he look unhappy and look like a prisoner? Well, we didn't think so either, but eventually he got out. We met in Ohio State, and we had a very quick romance and decided we were going to get married. And after that, we lived in so many countries. I've shown the map of where we lived. We lived in Austria and Lebanon. We studied Palestinian refugees. We lived in Vietnam and Cambodia. There were 800,000 refugees there from Ho Chi Minh, and we helped resettle them. Then Iran, they didn't have any refugees. Germany, Greece. The Queen was also born in Germany, like my husband, so they spoke German together. And Gabon, West Africa. Now, Gabon, if you kids look on the map, you'll see that Gabon is not that far from Uganda. I mean, they're right in the middle part of Africa. So I speak French and German and some Arabic and Greek and Farsi.
Thank you so much, Madam Maxine, and I thank God for the presence of so many of your friends here. We don't take it for granted. We look at it as a big blessing for us to have almost completed our year. So we have different sponsorship programs. We ended up deciding that these kids, although she gave us different names to call different groups of kids, but we end up calling them the Maxine kids, wherever they are. And that's why recently we even had to make them t-shirts because they are Maxine kids, and she's sponsoring kids in our special needs school, which is called Noah's Ark. She didn't say that I want all of my money to go to people who are able-bodied, no. She didn't say I want the money to go to the kids who are most intelligent. She left it upon us, but she emphasized that Noah's Ark must benefit great kings and queens, where we have kids who are continuing to be picked from the slums of Kampala, and then Bright Kids Uganda. Bright Kids Uganda is like the mother of all this. Noah's Ark came from Bright Kids Uganda. Great Kings and Queens came from Bright Kids Uganda, because the founder of Great Kings and Queens Center was a boy I got from the streets of Kampala in August 2000. And I educated him, made sure he grew up. He's a Muslim by birth, he's Mehdi, but when you go to his area, you might find it difficult if you didn't ask for Pastor Mehdi. Everybody in the community knows him as a pastor because he knew Jesus when he was in my home, and he was in our choir. He now sings and records music and earns money, which money he spends on saving more kids from the slums where I got him from. Then Noah's Ark was started as a result of a child I had adopted from a baby's home who was born with disabilities and was abandoned on the street at around 1.5 years. But he overgrew the baby's home, and the baby's home wanted to find a place where to push him to. So I adopted her from the baby's home. She was called Gloria, and I stayed with her for 6 years, but I couldn't manage developing some of her skills. So when I took her to a special needs school, within 2 weeks I lost her. When she was at that school, it was a boarding school. I don't know whether they didn't give her much care, either she ate something. Whatever happened, I've never known, because the doctor just said infection, and they put her on drip for 3 days, and then she passed on. And I thought that the best way for me to remember Gloria is to do something more positive, because everybody in Uganda doesn't like special needs kids. I said I will start an organization geared towards doing the good for the special needs kids. And then from there, in September 2015, we started Noah's Ark, which is a school and a center for kids with special needs. By end of this past term, we are stuck with the 12 kids. You know, parents come and say, I want my kid to be admitted here. Can I deposit some little money and I will come back? They fill in forms, give telephone numbers and so on. When they get out of the gate, they throw away the phone number cards and they never come back again. So out of the 30 plus kids we have at our special needs center, 12 of them don't go away. They never go to a home. They have no home. Noah's Ark has become their center. And she's sponsoring 3 of those kids who are without any parent. They have parents, but the parents abandoned them with us. So we are so grateful for what Madam Maxine is doing. You might look at 10 as a small number, but for us to be assured that those kids, each one of them will have this $1,000 coming in a year, it makes a very big difference. And we appreciate that, and we don't take it for granted, and we thank God for that. And we are praying that she continues to live on, and then that she recruits more young people with the same heart as big as hers, so that this type of service continues even beyond her time.
Eins, zwei, drei. Maxi's kids.
Maxi's kids.
Maxie's kids.
Wanatafuta echo chomuwawa